welcome everybody. This is Small Biz Sunday, episode number 3 with Jenna Bidoglio. And she is the co-owner of Ft.Extreme Gym in Nutley and Stanhope. And Jenna, I'll let you take it away of a little bit, a better introduction of who you are and kind of how you came to co-own Ft.Extreme Gym.
Sure. So I'm actually a full-time athletic trainer in a high school as well.
Very nice.
And co-owner of both Ft.Extreme Gym locations. I do personal training and coaching. I'm also a natural pro figure competitor, and I help promote natural bodybuilding competitions as well. So this year for the INBA, PNBA, I'm promoting the Eastern USA and also bringing back the iconic Mr. America 2020.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so it sounds like you're a very busy lady. If you didn't know this, actually, I didn't know you were an athletic trainer. I was going to go to Springfield College for that. And yeah. I had a change of mind to switch into business. But with that being said, that's a lot on your plate. How do you balance all of that?
I start early in the morning. My whole day is scheduled, you know. I get up and do my me stuff early. Yeah. So workouts are early. And then I kind of go into training my clients, and then I have a little bit of a break, and then I go to my full-time job. And after my full-time job, I sometimes come home and I train some more clients, but Google Calendars is my best friend. Yeah. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be able to pull it off, but I love what I do. So it's fun. I enjoy it. I enjoy being busy. Yeah.
I don't know about you, but like you said, Google Calendars, I have literally 30-minute blocks scheduled out. Do you do the same thing? What do you do?
Yep. Color-coded, 30-minute blocks.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have a list of priorities? Do you have usually a to-do list that you have every day? How do you keep yourself motivated and focused?
I do have a to-do list. Usually it's like a weekly to-do list, because my day-to-day is like what's on that calendar that's scheduled. But then I do have my things that I need to get done throughout the week that I keep in a list, and then you just kind of mark them off as you go.
Yeah, for sure. Well, cool. So, as this is a small biz podcast, I'm blessed to be able to talk with you today during these crazy times we're living in right now. But I'm very curious in how you came to co-own and found Ft.Extreme Gym in Nutley and Stanhope, which is in New Jersey, by the way.
Yes. So my business partner is actually the one who started it. He started in Nutley, in a smaller location than we're in now. Yeah. And I came to the first Ft.Extreme Gym location just looking for a place to train. Yeah. I have worked in, some of those big box gyms. I've worked in recreation centers for probably 10 or so years. Yeah. And I was training there as well. And it's when you have 200, people walking through the door a day and 20,000 members, there's just a level of not everybody cares the way that you care, sure. I guess. You have so many different types of people that are walking through that door. And it wasn't the vibe I was looking for. Yeah. So I found Ft.Extreme Gym. I walked in the door, and it's like this local gym, really cool vibe. The members, the staff, and Mark, my business partner, who's the kind of person who'd give you the shirt off his back. And that kind of sets the tone for the business as well. When somebody has a personality like that, people want to be there. And they want to take care of it. I spend a lot of time in the gym every week. That's like my home. I treat it like my home. Yeah. And so then, all the people that he brought in, all the members kind of felt a similar way. So it was almost like I had found my home and my family. Yeah. When he wanted to move to the bigger location, he had a silent partner, but the membership had grown so much that he needed someone who was physically present and there to help him do some of the day-to-day stuff. Yeah. So when that opportunity arose, I had bought out his silent partner, and I became a partner of the gym. Wow. And since then, in August, we actually opened that Stanhope location, which was our second location.
So you're very busy still.
Yeah. Still very busy.
So that brings me to a question of, when you open up this gym, what is the process like? What would people not understand in opening up a gym like that? What do you think is kind of a misconception or something that you didn't understand when you're opening up this gym?
I've always heard that opening up that second one is the hardest.
Yeah.
And I have to think that's true, but it was, we were grateful in the fact that it was already a gym previously. So we were kind of taking it over from someone else, which was nice because then we already had that membership base. We already had that income coming in.
Gotcha. So not repurposing any square footage or anything.
It's not like we started from scratch in a space and made it our own. It actually was previously a gym, which was actually very helpful.
Yeah.
But we took it from what it was and we made it a 24-hour gym. So that was something in itself that we had to, put all those things in place to make that possible. But I have to say, it was interesting. The members at first are just unsure of change.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of grabbing them, getting them on board, getting them to know who we were so that they felt confident staying in this gym because people are just like so nervous when it comes to things changing.
Yeah. And so how did you do that? How did you ensure that was a smooth transition?
Being present, being physically present at the gym, getting to know people's names as they walk through the door and their story. And, you get to know people, their family, where they work, what they do. People want to talk to you and get to know you. So being physically present, I think that made them feel a little more comfortable with, who we were.
For sure. And, you say you created a 24-hour, it's open 24 hours. I know that Anytime Fitness does the same thing. And I think they have key fobs. I was always curious, I would imagine people would try and break in, they would, scan other people's key fobs. So how do you ensure with this 24-hour rule that people are supposed to be there, that actually have memberships and you don't have things like that? Have there been any kind of crazy occurrences so far?
There haven't been no crazy occurrence. We actually,
that's good.
Because it's membership access only, and it's the same thing in Nutley as well. But I think because they were so conditioned for it to be, from 5 a.m. to 8 p.m. or whatever their times were before, they were so conditioned for that it's not like people tried to take advantage of it overnight because they already had their times. But we were able to grab some new members, police officers, people with like off-shift hours.
That's right.
That were so grateful
nurses,
to be able to use the gym at those times. And when you have like police officers who are in there, we have security cameras and you have the membership access, but people know who's going to the gym. So I think they're a little less likely to try to kind of pull a fast one or do anything that they shouldn't be doing when they know those are the types of people that will be in there at night.
Sure. Yeah. No, I like that a lot. And I have two questions. So one, Extreme Gym being a 2-location spot, I would imagine are you pricing it at a kind of a premium to say like an Anytime Fitness?
I feel like we're kind of middle of the road.
You're in the middle of the road, yeah.
Yeah, we're not looking at your like $10 a month gyms, but we're also not $79 a month. We're kind of like right there in the middle. We offer a lot at both locations, but also the 24 hours is helpful so that that gives a little bit more to our members. Yeah,
that's a cool pivot, I think, from a traditional gym. Because when I've worked at Health Tracks, which is in Connecticut and I think North Carolina, but they had a premier kind of experience where it was 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. But that didn't encapsulate nurses or police officers that can come in during these off hours, like you said. Yeah. So that's a good point. Have you seen any type of percentage increase of profits where you would do that versus if you had not done that? Is it a pretty significant amount, do you think?
Where that location is, it's very rural.
Yeah.
So it's not where we are in Nutley, we're like suburban, there's a big population. Up there, it's a little bit more rural. So I don't think we saw quite the change that you might see someplace like down in Nutley. Yeah. It didn't make that much of a difference, but it is a good selling point to be able to say like, hey, we're 24 hours.
Yeah.
People may never use it, but they like to hear that.
Yeah, no, exactly. I agree. And so apart from the membership commissions you might get from people, how else does Extreme Gym make money?
Well, we have the personal training and nutrition that we do, which actually brings a lot of people through the door. Mark is very well known, especially in this area, so that does help. We also have a pro shop with supplements and gym gear, so that helps bring us in some money. We also rent space, so we have a massage therapist. We have girls that rent the group fitness room, and they do some like dance, fitness, Zumba style classes. And we also rent to personal trainers. So where some gyms, they only want you to use their personal trainers and that's it. We actually allow personal trainers to come in.
Really?
They rent the space from us. They can train as many clients as they want for, the price that we negotiate for them to come in.
Yeah.
And so that helps too.
Wow. So what is the legalities for that? Is there a lot of legal things you need to go through?
They all have to have their individual insurance coverage.
Yeah.
And then
rather than the gym, right?
Correct. Yeah. So they're responsible. They have to provide us with all their certifications and their proof of insurance so that we have that on file.
Wow. And what would you say, going into the financials a little bit more, because I feel like it's a big part of small business owners and maybe aspiring gym owners or small business owners to understand how much do you think the revenue, like what is the percentage split of memberships versus, renting out to physical therapists or personal trainers? What would you say the split is percentage wise of income?
Honestly, it might actually be about 50%.
Really?
Yeah.
So 50% of the income is from strictly just memberships, and then 50% is the rest.
From everything else. Yep.
Wow. And so during Corona,
that does vary. So our Nutley location, that's probably about 50%. Our Stanhope location is almost 100% is from membership.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. And now how many members do you have currently between the two gyms?
We have about 250 in Nutley and probably about 350 to 400 in Stanhope.
Amazing. Wow. Okay. And I know that a lot of these bigger gyms too, and I imagine it's probably a little bit different for Extreme Gym, seeing as it's a little more curtailed to the members and it's a little bit more exclusive. Do you find that members who, like a bigger percentage of members go there every day? How often do they use it usually? Do you have those numbers?
I don't know specifically for you, but we have like your Monday, Wednesday, Friday people.
Yeah.
And then you have like your every night after work people. Mm-hmm. So people definitely have like their scheduled number of days. I would say probably 2 to 3 days is normal for most of our members.
Yeah. And do you ever take that into account with understanding, okay, maybe it's time to replace this equipment? Or is it kind of just on this pseudo basis where you're like, oh, this piece of equipment's down, maybe we have to replace it?
Yeah. I mean, as soon as anything goes down, we pretty much get somebody in here to take care of it right away. So yeah.
Yeah, I've always wondered that the wear and tear versus, the membership cost versus how many members actually use it.
I think so that's because of how small we are, it's a little bit different than some of your bigger gyms who have tons of equipment, tons of people walking through the door every day, we can take care of every single thing immediately because it's so personal.
And that's why you're in the middle of the road and can charge a little bit more of a premium. Yeah. I love that. And how have you, so during, these crazy times we're living in, how have you either pivoted or adjusted to make sure, to keep the business running and going? How has it been?
It's been a struggle.
Yeah.
It's been a struggle. I mean, when I'm telling you like 100% of the Stanhope gym is coming from membership and now we can't charge our members, that makes things really difficult. When 50% of our membership here pays the bills, that's difficult. People lost their jobs, so they can't do, the online training if we, that we're offering because they can't pay for that. A lot of our members don't even want to do online training because they pay for our services in person. Mm-hmm. They don't necessarily want, you to either send them exercises or to do like a Zoom workout.
Yeah.
That's not what they want or feel like they need.
Yeah. They want the personal connection.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And it's just not, they're not into it the same way. We initially had given out some equipment to some of our members so they could work out at home. We purchased virtual classes so that people could log in and use virtual classes. But I have to say, like, not a lot of people took advantage of that. I think initially people were like, oh, this is awesome, let's do it. And then they kind of trailed off because you're home and there's all these other things that you could be doing. And it's like, I'll do that later. And then you never get around to it. And then days go by and weeks go by and months go by and you haven't ever gone on and done it.
Yeah.
So it's definitely been a struggle. We did take a space that we weren't using. It was a garage space that we were using for storage. We got all the storage stuff out of there, and in an effort to kind of spread out all of our equipment that 6-foot distance, we've moved some of the equipment into that garage space. So not only did it expand our square footage, but we were able to spread out all of our equipment. So, we don't have to mark off equipment and not be able to have our members be able to use it because it's too tight. We actually were able to move some of that stuff over so that everything is still accessible. We also expanded out to the parking lot.
Nice.
So we turfed part of the parking lot.
That's awesome.
We put a rack in there, a pull-up bar, a box, a plyo box, the tires out there. So again, even more kind of expanded space.
Yeah. And so that's awesome. I keep seeing, small business owners making little pivots here and there, excuse me. And it seems like you're doing that right now to try and maintain any type of membership fees going forward. So I love that ingenuity and that ability to kind of think on the fly. And I could have sworn, I think this is New Jersey, but a small business owner was defying the orders and opening up his gym, correct?
Mm-hmm, yes.
So what are your thoughts on that?
I understand why he did it. I think he put a lot of important safety measures in place.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily agree with how he went about it. Right now in talks with our insurance companies, having your gym open when we're not technically allowed to be open, they're not covering you. So that's dangerous. I appreciate what he's standing for. I appreciate what he's standing for all small businesses. I really do. I hope that doesn't hurt us in the long run because, obviously he maybe made Governor Murphy a little angry.
Yeah.
But there is also on the other side of that, there's a small business coalition that wrote up a policy and procedure for reopening. They sat down with Governor Murphy's chief of staff and had a meeting with him about all of those safety measures that they wanted to put in place.
Yeah.
The governor's office loved it, but at the same time, he said, we're just not ready to let gyms open yet.
Wow. So, it brings up this interesting question as someone like myself and you who are avid gym goers and you actually own your own gym. What do you think the difference is between opening up, let's say, I think at least in Massachusetts, they're opening up barbers and salons over gyms first and, other businesses. Do you think that gyms should have been included in the phase 1 opening? Or do you agree with the phase 2 or 3 opening for gyms? What are your thoughts on that?
Personally, I would like to open up as soon as we possibly can.
Of course, yeah, for business-wise, yeah.
I think even if it was for something as small as allowing us to do personal training one-on-one, I see no reason as to why you can't safely do that. Yeah. You can keep a safe distance from someone, stand off to the side, wear a mask, whatever the case is, and still be able to have that one-on-one training where it's just the two of you in the gym, or maybe if Mark and I both had somebody, there's 4 of us in 8,000 square feet, I feel like we can safely do that and we feel confident with that. And I actually think even the public, even our members, even our clients would feel comfortable with that. They're begging to come back.
Yeah.
They're trying to come back, which, we're very grateful for because it's a little scary the way that some people talk about going back to the gym. And I'm afraid that the public isn't going to be confident to come back to the gym, So I do think that we could do that. When they proposed the plan for reopening, they proposed it at 25% capacity. For us, that's like 10 people. Like we can have 10 people here comfortably.
Yeah.
With plenty of space, nobody on top of each other. It's hard for me to think that, you can have that many people in other stores plus some, you could have, some of these stores have a lot of people in them.
They do. Yeah.
They told me the other day that there was like a hardware store that had 200 people in it at one time. Like we can't have 10 people in the gym. That's really hard for me to swallow.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, and this is my personal opinion, so take it with a grain of salt, but I think that the government at sometimes feels like it doesn't know what they're doing. They don't know the exact policies. And it seems on a state-to-state basis, even states are confused. Okay, do we follow the government rules or do we enact our own rules, right? And it's been really interesting to see because there is no person in the state level who's saying, okay, let's focus on gyms, let's focus on barbers, let's focus on restaurants, and taking this kind of, unique approach sector by sector. So it's kind of a crapshoot, what it seems and boils down to. And it's tough hearing that small business owners are dealing with this. So I feel for you. In terms of going forward, let's say 2-3 months going forward, how do you think that this will kind of come through? Do you see all the members returning? Are you projecting that? Or what are you trying to do to make sure that when this gets back to full capacity, or whatever, the end of Corona, what are you forecasting for the future?
I think initially people are going to be a little bit slow to come back. Not everybody, but I do think there's going to be a group of people that are slow to come back. We've already had a significant amount of cancellations. Even knowing that their memberships were being frozen during all this time and everything, people still canceled because they just don't think they're going to be comfortable coming back.
Yeah.
So that's going to hurt definitely initially. But I also feel like as people start to go out and go to other places, and even if it's slow at first, they will start to feel comfortable to do their normal routine again.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can be included in that. I do see a struggle for some of those big gyms.
Yes.
Being able to either, provide the equipment, because they're going to have to take so much either out or mark it off or whatever the case is in order to create separation. They're going to really have a difficult time with that. And also just, the sheer number of membership they have and the people that come through their door every day. I don't know how they're going to be able to manage allowing everybody the opportunity to do what they need to do without losing their members.
Yeah. And the sanitation wise as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I remember
so many pieces of equipment.
I know. And it actually stunned me because back in March, I'm pretty sure, when gyms were still open, I was at my local Boston one, and there were no sanitation wipes anywhere. And this was 5:30, 6 o'clock, which is unacceptable because it's so early in the morning that it was kind of crazy. And that's what you see from these big box gyms. So I'm glad you made that point of Extreme Gym, focusing on that and being able to accommodate that. And, as we're kind of coming to an end here, Jenna, but I wanted to, kind of dig deeper into what you most love about being an entrepreneur, being a gym owner. What really motivates you every day to kind of get up? And I know it might be a little tough during these times to have faith and get motivated, as it can seem bleak. But how do you maintain a positive, positivity to you, and how do you kind of get up every day and say, let's attack this day?
Well, it's like your business is your baby.
Yeah.
It is what you make it. It's your vision. And that's the coolest part about, being a business owner is that, it's yours. So you have to have pride in that. And, if you lose that vision, if you lose that excitement, then, you're not going to see it grow into, what you want it to be.
Sure.
So, every day you gotta be trying to give your all to that thing that you care so much about. And especially, having members and clients, seeing them succeed and being able to give them the opportunity to be healthy and happy. The gym is such a great outlet for people physically, but mentally as well.
Yeah.
And we provide that, which is such an awesome service. So that's like kind of part of the reason it's so hard to sit on the sideline right now. It's like, we have the thing that's going to make people feel better and be healthier. And we can't even allow them to utilize it right now. And that's so hard.
It's frustrating. I know. It's been frustrating just for me to not be able to use the gym every day. And because it's even at home, and you own the gym. So I imagine you have more, equipment than I do, but the gym I look at as a way to get myself motivated. It separates my home living from my workout time. And it's tough to combine your at-home living with workouts sometimes. I don't know if you feel that way, but
absolutely.
Yeah. And I think we're seeing that even with, people not taking up these classes you're offering. It's been tough. Okay. So what advice, if someone wanted to open a gym, let's say, and you could talk to them, or they were reaching out to you, what would you tell them if they were saying, hey, Jenna, I want to start a gym, and, a different state, let's say, for for competition purposes, right? What would you tell them? What advice would you give them?
Well, I'd say you really need to have a plan.
Yeah.
You want to start with some kind of like a base, whether it's like it's something that you're already doing. Maybe you're already doing training.
Yeah.
Are you waking up thinking about that? Are you going to bed thinking about that? Is it something that you care about that much? Because if you're not that passionate about what you're doing, it's going to be hard to see it through to the end, because there's some really hard times, especially when you're starting your business. And then, like really having a plan of action and writing it out. And you have to have your 1 week goal and your 1 month goal and your 1 year goal and your 5 year goal. And you got to like have those little steps that are all those things that are going to bring you to those goals.
Yeah. I love that. That's great. And that brings me actually to a good question is do you have a 1 year goal, 5 year goal for yourself and for the business? And what would they be?
Honestly, I think it's hard right now because,
It is.
not knowing where we're going to be when you come out the other side of this kind of makes it really difficult.
Yeah.
But one of our goals, before all this happened, was certainly to look for possibly a third location.
Yeah.
And we're always kind of have our eyes open for where that next place might be and what that next place might be.
Yeah. And, it's tough to say, but a lot of small business owners, and I've even seen it in Boston so far with restaurants and bars going out of business, but we might see a big transition of small business ownership where if you can stay alive during these times, then there might be some good opportunities to take over some smaller gyms or some smaller businesses that, that didn't have unfortunately, the finances to continue.
Right. Yeah. If you have a little nest egg right now, investing in something could really be beneficial in the long run.
Yeah. And I think many people, they look at the stock market as the main way to invest, but you can invest in there's many different investment opportunities. It's yourself is one, business, any type of thing that you can put your money into. And I think a small business and starting up something like you've done with Extreme Gym is a great opportunity. So yeah. And my last question is my own personal curiosity. How have you applied for any loans? What has the loan process been like? I keep hearing small business owners struggling to find loans, and I was just curious what the process has been like for you.
Yeah. So we applied for the economic injury disaster loan.
Yeah.
With I guess it was like $1,000 per employee up to 10,000 or something that they were giving that was granted.
Yeah.
We also applied for the New Jersey state, which we did not get. That went out very, very quickly. They ran out of money.
Yeah.
For the economic injury disaster loan, we just recently did hear some information about that. We did get that $1,000 per employee. So that was helpful. But then it's like weeks and weeks go by before you even hear from them ever again. So it was like one morning you just woke up and that money was deposited, but we didn't even hear from them. We didn't know why. We didn't know what it was. We're like, what did we just get? How did this happen? And then we had received some correspondence from them saying that they were reviewing our application. And then we did receive some correspondence a couple weeks after that for each of the business saying what they were proposing that we were going to get for the SBA loans. And now we're just, again, still kind of waiting. We filled out the application and we're just kind of waiting. It's been a lot of waiting. We filled out the application the day it opened, and now we're 10 weeks in, and we still no money really other than that initial granted money. So.
And has that really, how much has that affected the business and running every day?
We've been okay. We do have a very understanding landlord.
Yeah.
He's also a small business owner as well. He gets it. And he also knows that, if we're not in this space, if it goes empty, he might not find someone
be
able to replace that space anyway. So we do have a little bit of leverage as far as that's concerned right now, it seems. But he's also a good guy and he gets it. And so that's been very, very helpful for us.
Everybody's in this together. That's for sure.
Yeah.
There's not one person who hasn't really been affected by this. And I think I've seen from my own personal standpoint, a lot of small business owners have come together, which is so good to see. But a lot of the general public, it seems, is being very political during all this when you should just be in it for, we're all in this together. We all have to band together to get through this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So in some final words, how can people support, Extreme Gym and support you, Jenna? How can they get in touch with you if they want to get some online personal training, which you're offering? How can people get in contact with you and support you?
Sure. So they can find us at www.extremegymnutley.com, or they can go to @extremegymnj on Instagram.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, Jenna, it's been a pleasure talking with you.
You as well.
And I'm sure people will get a lot from this in terms of owning a small business and a gym. And it's been really incredible. And it is incredible how much you balance with all of your jobs and all of your different positions to not only open a gym in August, but to face it's insane times. So I give you a lot of credit, Jenna.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
Awesome. All right.